Okay. Well, this time, this is Jupi's choice. We went for something a little different from the mainstream. So we will be going, it'll be random. Sometimes we'll be talking about what's happening now, like the Batman one that was kind of current. Sometimes we'll pick more independent things like this issue here. And maybe sometimes we'll go back in time and review like, old 90s comics and things. So, just random stuff. So what did you choose for us now, Jupes?
All right, so this is called Helen of Wyndhorn from Dark Horse Comics. So before I get into this, what do you guys think, just by looking at the cover, what do you think this kind of series could be?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes there. Okay, anyone else?
It looks vampire-esque.
Okay, vampire.
There's a castle in the
It
background.
It looks paranormal to me, like ghosts and stuff.
Oh, paranormal. Interesting.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I do see that.
All right. Okay, so
Drew, anything?
any ideas, Drew? I think Drew is frozen now.
No,
Yes,
it's
no.
up and down.
Damn
Sorry. He's
I
frozen.
think he's focused on the pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza.
But anyways,
Low bandwidth.
Oh,
I didn't order the pizza yet.
Oh, okay.
Yet.
So what do you think this could be like? What it could include?
I just saw you pull the book up and you started talking about it. And I was like, ooh, and then all three of you froze, which means my internet is kind of lagging. But
Oh, right.
yeah, I didn't really hear any description of what it was or anything.
Oh, I didn't do one yet. I want to know what you think it could be about before I get into it.
Well, it looks like a comic book. I'm not quite sure what it's about. There's a castle in the background, I think. So I would imagine that she's going to try and either be a princess or something along that matters. Maybe vampires of some sort.
Okay, those are all pretty good guesses. It's like you're kind of close, but not close at the same time. But it's pretty cool. So the story is about a girl here. This girl her name is Helen. But the story starts in the present day, the present day for this series just happens to be in the mid-90s. And there's an old woman being interviewed about her time as a governess working in this place that you see in the background, which is an estate. Now, she was the governess to this main character here. Now, she gets the girl, go back to the estate, and there's a lot of weird things that are going on at the estate. And we're just, like weird happenings, like what else would you say about
it
it?
was just the thing that was outside. Well, basically what's going on is it's kind of like if you guys see Titanic, that same thing. It's like the old lady telling her story. It's kind of like that, like Jupe said. So I think her name was Lilith. Lilith was in charge
Eccleston.
of Helen. Helen's like this teenage girl is just doing whatever. And
Not teenage though, because if you look at her, I still say she's probably a young adult, maybe in her 20s or something. But they never actually say what her age
I thought she
is.
was 16 or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't think so because she was able to drink and smoke.
But she wasn't supposed to.
No, but it looks bad because the story takes place in the past between 1935 and 1941. As a general sense, it looks bad for women to smoke, period, back then, regardless if you were of age or not.
Well, they kept like touching in on that. When I read it, they kept touching in like, are you too young to be doing that? Are you too young to be doing that? Like, I don't know. But anyways, her dad died and she was like in prison, I guess. That's where Lilith finds her and takes her to the estate and everything. And this girl just smokes and drinks to the point of just, being passed out drunk. And at least for now, because it's all new to her, the butler introduces them to all the 700,000 whatever rooms this place has. And all she cares about is the room that has all the liquor. and she's all, dude, she grabs a bottle of the liquor and just breaks it and drinks it straight up till she passes out.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, wow.
I know. But yeah, there's weird creatures and stuff outside the mansion. So that's part of the mystery. Like why they're there, what happened.
Yeah, and the main thing here is that Lilith, who I said was the governess that had to get her and take her back to the state after her father died. We know how her father died, but the circumstances surrounding it hasn't been revealed yet. And this estate belongs to her grandfather who's away at the time. So the thing that's weird is that it seems like Helen, this girl here, it just seems like she's never actually been to this estate before, because in a
No.
way she acted like, so maybe she never visited her grandfather, and all of a sudden her father dies, who happens to be a writer, and she goes back to this, forced back to this estate. Now, while she's here, she keeps talking about having nightmares. No, she keeps saying that she's seeing monsters. So everyone is just chalking it up to her having night terrors or just, really bad dreams. But towards the end, the governess Lilith, she actually sees what Helen sees. But the monster is defeated by someone very unexpected, but we aren't going to spoil that. And we just, then that's when you go back to the present. She's like, yeah, that's when things really started. And, then it goes into the next issue, which we do not have.
Yeah. And the kid that was interviewing her was kind of like, I forgot how he phrased it, but it was kind of like, okay, but what really happened, with the monsters and stuff, that's like the made up stuff, right? And he said, no, it happened. It actually happened. They do exist. So it's kind of like,
Ooh.
yeah. So right now it's a 6-issue miniseries. Issue 3 is coming out soon, but
Which
the
I
thing
have.
Yep. Well, the thing that got us is that for some reason, maybe they had limited print copies, or they just maybe underestimated how popular this series would become. Issue 2 is hard to find. It is sold out in every
Really?
comic book store. I checked Amazon and eBay. Hip Comic usually has all the things. I eventually tracked it down to this site called I Want More Comics and Games or something like that. It's stationed in Colorado, I think, and that's where I finally found a second, like issue 2. But everywhere else, even if you go to, this is a Dark Horse comic, even if you go to darkhorsecomics.com itself, it's sold out, not available for either for print or anything. It's just,
Yeah, and issue 2 just came out this past April. And it's
Oh,
already
wow.
sold, and it's hard to find a copy of issue 2.
yeah.
Doesn't Dark
Issue
Horse
3
Comics have an app as
Oh,
well?
sorry?
Sorry. Does Dark Horse Comics have an app as well?
Yeah. But, we prefer, holding it in our hand.
Physically,
But yeah,
yeah.
'cause they do have, I did find it on both that and Amazon. They do sell like the Kindle copies, but, we want the
The physical.
physicality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, digital copies are the only ones that are allowed. And also, too, when the first issue came out, this sold out a lot. This sold out really fast, too. So they did reprints of this one.
Yeah, this is like very popular. It's very,
Yeah, issue 1 got reprints. And issue 2 is like backlog, back orders, all sorts of stuff. And issue 3 just came out, which I got my copy of. I say, well, if issue 1 and 2 sold out in the way that it did, might as well get issue 3 before that's a mystery to find. So the main story here is that we're trying to figure out the mystery of what are these creatures, what are these monsters, the mystery behind the estate, what actually happened there, and how Helen is connected to it, and how it's connected to her dead father and her grandfather, because it has something to do with their family line.
So is it more so like spiritual, like kind of like ghosty of things, or more so like eldritch horror, like Lovecraft?
Probably kind of like both. Because the thing is, right now we just saw the monsters, so it's still too soon to tell.
Yeah.
Because those are just like a giant beast type thing, so it's too hard to tell if it's like, if it's a spiritual thing, an actual physical creature, or what. It's the hard part to determine. Because this was like, it happened real like final pages of the story and everything. But it seems to be tied to her nightmares. And I noticed that when Helen ran to Lilith, she was like crying and apologizing, like it's her fault. I brought it here. It followed me. So that's also the mystery. Like, how is this thing like attached to her in some way? This is a lovable little guy here. That
It's
you probably
beautiful.
don't want to.
I just want to pet it. I just want it as a pet.
Yeah,
Friendships.
I mean, you can go ahead and pet it. You just might not get your hand back.
Good puppy.
Yeah. But the worst part is it might eat all of Drew's pizza. That's something that Drew would not stand for.
So like I said, we're looking forward to reading issue 2 so you can figure out what happens next with these, this whole setup, how she's connected to it, why she made the statement, like she brought it here. So it's like a fantasy mystery type thing.
Yeah. And also Helen kind of came off as she does whatever the fuck she wants to do kind of brat. So I'm assuming that as the series progresses, you'll probably learn more about her, find out why she's like that, care more about her character, that kind of thing.
Be
I'm,
less of
I'm
a
curious
bitch.
about the second part, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, we would actually do that. It took us so long to because we spent almost most of the weekend trying to track it down and went to different comic book stores or whatever. So maybe when we finally get it, we'll do it a thing next time or something.
Yeah, let's
So-
we could catch up on that.
I guess this is a good question to ask you guys because like maybe other people want to read it too. Is there a place to like read comics online where you don't have to buy them?
Well, there is like you said, like maybe go to Dark Horse's site and there could be like a digital copy
Yeah.
of it.
If you go to darkhorse.com, they got digital copies there of 1 and 2 and whatever.
Is
And
it about the
also,
same price, free, more?
See, we'd have to
I think they still charge you $4.99 for that, but at Amazon, I've seen them for $2.99.
But it's not any more expensive.
Yeah, it's around that because most of the days, unfortunately, the days of comic books costing 65 cents are long behind us. The average comic book nowadays costs anywhere between $3.99 to $4.99.
Yeah, the other one.
But it's not. That's good. At least it's not more expensive on the web than it is, in paper.
That's also still decently cheap because, I mean, other than talking about inflation, because that's also partly what it is. Granted, I haven't really been to a comic store and actually bought comics, especially any like new ones recently at all. But even then, like in my mind, it's like, okay, everything's so expensive. If I want to get a comic book, it's like $15-20 per.
Can we take that?
Oh,
Like that's what I thought in my head. But so it's kind of nice to hear the fact that like, oh yeah, it's still, $5, $4, $3, whatever. It's still like decently like inexpensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like the more expensive ones if they're like just bigger issues in general.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get like death of character or introduction of some character that's supposed to be big and the issue might be double size, so that one might cost like $6.99, $7.99, but the usual price is $4 to $5 nowadays.
Yeah. Like I forgot how much. What
Of the
I forgot how much this was.
regular floppy comics that aren't like oversized or hologram covers.
Yeah, hardcover. Yeah.
I might have to steal one.
And also the way we got this one is that back on May 4th was on Free Comic Book Day, and they had the our comic shop, they had like a certain thing where each week they were doing a different theme and they were selling like a packet of stuff. So like this one was I saw fantasy sci-fi, so I just wanted to bought the whole pack, just had a whole bunch of comics. It was like for like $10 or something. And this was included with it. And I was kind of interested. So I read it and I was like, oh, saying, where's issue 2? You don't have issue 2, And
That's awesome. I might, I don't know. That's another thing that I have to buy, but I really want to get into comic books. I just wish there was like a free website to like read them on. You know what I mean? Like, especially the older ones, like, I don't want to pay. Cause like me, I'm going to want to go ham. Like with my ADHD, I'm like one of those people that like, if I start something, I want to keep going. So if I buy one comic book, I'm going to want to read the whole dang series. And
Just super hyperfixate.
Yeah, it's going to be like $50 out of my pocket because I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to read this one and then this one and then this one and then this one.
And then forget about it in like 2 weeks.
Marvel. This is why I can't do DC and Marvel stuff. It's just too much. But if you go like to something more indie and you just start from the beginning, it's easier to collect and keep up with it.